God's Not Dead 3. I honestly can't believe they're making another one, but I can't say I'm very surprised considering how much these movies gross in at the box office and how little it costs to actually make these. Now, if some of you don't know what the God's Not Dead series is, it's a Christian film trilogy completely drenched in bias about religion, pushing a clear message onto people. The first movie tried to dress itself as a nuanced film, trying to have the debate between Christianity and science, only to showcase a strawman atheist villain, killing him off at the end with no redemption to preach about how much you actually need God. Not much of a nuanced position, really. Most have labeled it as fundamentalist Christian propaganda, which I can't blame them for that label. Then the sequel comes out and has its plot centered around another teacher, this one who teaches in high school, in which a student asks her questions about Jesus and then is taken to court for talking about religion. The ACLU, American Civil Liberties Union, is portrayed as the villains in that film, trying to prove that God is finally dead, which is an actual line in that film. Weird, considering they'd probably be on the teacher's side in this case, but okay. A common theme throughout both films is the persecution complex, painting the narrative that people of faith tend to be victims of society. Enter God's Not Dead 3, A Light into Darkness, or as I like to call it, God's Not Dead 3, The Search for More Money. Because man, these movies are cheap to make. The first film grossed $62 million on a $2 million budget, and the second film grossed $24 million on a $4 million budget. Not as much as the first, but still having good results. Since the third movie comes out in theaters today, I figured that I would review the trailer to this movie, because honestly, I don't want to pay to see this. Not only are these movies really not meant for people like me, weird I know, but I try to vote with my wallet when it comes to movies. Like, I don't really want to support these films. Then again, maybe sometime in the future I can do a full review of the movie, but as of right now, I'm in no rush to see it. I'm also aware that I'm judging a book by its cover with this, so this could very well be a good movie, possibly better than its previous incarnations. The problem is that due to the previous films, they've made this one unappealing for me to go to the theaters for. The film stars David A.R. White, a previous side character in the other movies, now playing center stage, with him dealing with the aftermath of a church burning down as well as dealing with the death of his friend who was a pastor.
St. James Church has become a beacon of violence and controversy. And it has no place on Hadley University campus.
How you doing?
I'm okay.
It's kind of weird. Somebody burns your church down, but you're okay.
How do we actually know that our values are any more valid than anyone else's?
I don't understand, Lord.
Seems like you're the one much is being asked of this time.
This was my father's church, and it's not for sale.
We cannot respond to hate with more hate.
You don't get to play innocent. You did this.
What you're doing, it's against the law.
It's okay to be broken, Dave. It means God's still shaping you.
The whole world knows what the church is against, but it's getting harder and harder to know what it's for.
What am I doing wrong?
I mean, the premise seems like whatever, it just kind of looks boring, seems like they just called it God's Not Dead just for the recognition, so it'll do better in theaters if it has this pre-established name attached to it. However, that ends up being a detriment to this film because of the name behind it. I mean, sure, if this was just called A Light in Darkness, I still probably wouldn't go willingly to see this, and people wouldn't be talking about it as much. But I have heard that this, compared to the other two movies, is the better of the films, but it's really hit and miss though. I've heard it's dull, it's pretty meh, but these are just things that I've heard that what other YouTubers who watched it had to say, but until I see it for myself, I can't really judge it in its entirety. Also, on a side note, I find it funny that David A.R. White is the star in this movie. Like, I guess they couldn't get a bigger named actor for this. In the first movie, you had Kevin Sorbo, who's best known for his role as Hercules. And the second one starred Melissa Joan Hart, who's better known as Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and even had Ernie Hudson, who was in Ghostbusters. David A.R. White is really best known for this scene in another Christian film. You might have seen it floating around YouTube here and there.
Hey, Scotty. Jesus, man.
Not to mention that David is the one who founded Pureflix, the company responsible for producing these films. Guess this time around you couldn't afford a big name actor, so we just had to settle for David. For all I know, it's probably not all that bad, maybe it's tolerable, but I don't really care to know at the same time, you know? At least I feel like I'm being fair with this film, considering the other two movies weren't fair at all. I just don't care, so I'm not gonna shit all over it and say people are dumb for liking these. If you do, you do, but I'm not going to pretend these movies are good either. The first two definitely aren't, so they fucked up twice, now third time's the charm, right? Only I don't want to give you that third chance. Sorry, the well of chances has run dry for me at this point. I'm not gonna lose much sleep over this, so for me, I'm a pass on God's Not Dead 3 for now. Again, maybe in the future I'll rent it and maybe review it, but there's a slim chance of that actually happening. Maybe if others want to see it, but I haven't even seen Black Panther yet. Yeah, I haven't seen that movie, so if I'm taking my sweet time with Black Panther, what the fuck makes you think I'm running to theaters for God's Not Dead 3? But let me know what you guys think. Are you interested in God's Not Dead 3? Have you seen the other ones? And if so, what's your opinion on them? Do you even really give a shit about all this? Please let me know. Thank you to my patrons who watch this and continue to support me. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, I'll catch you all later in my next video.